Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. How are you all doing today? So, let's talk about xenophobia. Hate peeve number 3 on the list, that long list I told you about before. So, when I was growing up in Bophuthatswana, which is now called the Northwest, right, province, my parents were one of the first West Africans to come to South Africa, right, in the late 70s. Okay, so we were, in the beginning, the only Ghanaians living in our community. And to show you just how real xenophobia is amongst the people of South Africa, my sister and I were always called out for being dark-skinned, for having long, thick hair, for being different or other than the local black people, right? We were always, blackies, muntu, that was the word for it, which means black, right? And people were always like, oh, how come you guys are so black? How come y'all are so tall? How come you guys are built big? People like that, people aren't built like that here. Everything about us was just different. How come you people speak so well? What language do you people speak? What's that language called? Where is it from? We got lots of flack, okay? And why I call it xenophobic is because they started hating us for it, for being different, for being other than, right? But at the same time, as these people were hating on us for looking different, speaking different, talking different, acting different, they were busy appropriating all our stuff. And by our stuff, I mean the way West Africans dressed, Ghanaian dress, Ghanaian hair food, because they were so amazed by our hair. They're like, how come you guys have such long, thick hair and we don't have hair like that? So my mother was one of the first people to teach the Tswana people in Bophuthatswana how to do proper cornrow, right? Because they didn't know how to do it. They just used to twist, right? And teach them different Ghanaian hairstyles and different Ghanaian food and what have you. And teach them about our hair food and, because they're always like, what do you guys use on your hair? How come your hair is so long and so thick? And, what do you people eat? And the clothes that we wore. And, that time in the early 80s, tie and dye and batik were in fashion. So my mom used to make all these tie and dye and batik clothes with, the design that is on the front of the shirts and stuff that they used to do in the old days. We call it joromi in Ghana, right? So she used to sell all that stuff to them. And as much as they hated us / admired us, it was a love-hate relationship, because they wanted to dress like us. They wanted to wear our clothes, eat our food, speak like us, and they were always inquisitive about us, and you know what I mean? So that was the first taste of xenophobia, okay? Later on, when we were in high school and we moved to the Ciskei, which is now the Eastern Cape, there were more Ghanaians, right, in the area. So everyone who was dark-skinned and tall and built heftily or bigger than they naturally were was Amagana. They used to call us Amagana, meaning Ghanaians. It didn't matter whether you were Nigerian, Senegalese, Gambian, hell, Ethiopian. Okay, the difference? Sudanese, damn. You were all Amagana simply because that was the only place that they've ever heard of that is outside of their own country. You see, the ignorance of the people at the time. Lord, apartheid did a number on y'all. Bruh, apartheid did a serious number on the black people of South Africa, because the layman walking on the street does not know about the interior of Africa, the north of Africa, the west, the east of Africa. All they know is their own little corner. And it was done that was done on purpose. Okay, it was designed that way by the white man to keep them ignorant, to keep them apart from other African countries, to keep them ignorant. That was the whole plan of the white man, right? Because that's how they got them suppressed and oppressed for so long under apartheid, right? So when we were in the Eastern Cape, we became Amagana, no matter where you came from in Africa, right? And at the same time as the people hated us and were inquisitive about us, they were busy appropriating our culture, watching our movies, wanting to eat our food, dressing the way we dress. You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm far older and I live in Gauteng province, Johannesburg, exactly the same thing. There hasn't been much change, even though there is a black government now, right? There hasn't been much change. The layman, the man on the street, is extremely ignorant about the rest of Africa. When you ask, it used to be actually, when you're asked, where do you come from, and you say Ghana, they'll be like, oh, where's that? And you'll be like, West Africa. And they'll be like, oh, Southwest. Now, Southwest Africa was a former name given to Namibia, which is a little country just on top of South Africa, right? And that was as far as the knowledge of the people went. That was the only so-called West Africa that they knew. And we had to be constantly correcting them, going like, no, not Southwest Africa, West Africa. And they'd be like, oh, where's that? In Africa, your fellow black people, can you imagine? Can you imagine the lack of knowledge, the ignorance? Now here in Johannesburg, where I'm far older and stuff, and so many more Africans have come into the country, it's, oh, I'm a Nigeria, because all they know is Nigerians, right? No matter where you're from, honey, you can be from Sudan, and you will be, I'm a Nigeria, right? At the same time as they're calling everyone, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Kwere, and foreigners, and all these nasty little derogative names, they're appropriating our culture. They want to eat Nigerian food. They want to eat Ghanaian food. They want to eat Senegalese food. They want to dress the way we dress. They want to watch all our movies. They want to speak the way we speak. So it's like a love-hate relationship. There's so much jealousy going on. And then they have this stupid, pathetic little organization, which the wonderful government can't even put their foot down and stop, called Operation Dudula, where they have these folks, these jobless, ignorant folks going around preaching hatred towards other Africans. Who is behind this? Who is designing all of this? And how does it benefit you as an African? A lot of the people here do not even know, are not aware of the fact that while they were going through apartheid, little children in West Africa, in Ghana and Nigeria for certain, and certainly the rest of West Africa, were forced to give their pocket money to help the struggle against apartheid, to help the soldiers of Umkhonto we Sizwe. They don't even know it. And some of them, the educated ones who do know about it, haven't told the uneducated ones back in the township that, hey, do you know that the other West Africans helped us? When we were in exile, we went to Ghana, we went to Nigeria, we went to these other places for training. They don't tell, they come back home and they keep quiet. They don't educate their people. They don't tell their people this. So the man in the street is very ignorant about how the rest of Africa helped them, how the rest of Africa contributed towards their freedom. And now that the country is free and people are coming in to come and look for work and better themselves and better their lives, suddenly they are other than. They're not us. They're different. We need to hate them. Divide and conquer, y'all. It is working on you guys so well. To the extent where this Operation Dudula people are even going into schools and clinics and kicking other African children out of schools and clinics. The other day they went to a clinic, a Zimbabwean girl who was standing in line for her ARV drugs. They kicked her out simply because, oh, she's a foreigner. Who's a foreigner? Why is it that you don't have the guts to go up to the white people who are the real foreigners, the Chinese, the Lebanese, the Russians, the Ukrainians, and kick them out of your country? The Pakistanis. Why are you kicking out other Africans, your brothers in arms who fought so hard for you, who prayed so hard for you, who did everything within their power to get you out of apartheid? Did you think you did it alone? Because you didn't. You didn't do it alone. You did it with the help of other Africans. But because your government hasn't come back to come and educate you and teach you otherwise and teach you unity with your fellow Africans, you run rampant in the streets, calling your fellow black man a foreigner. Bruh, Africans need to wake up so seriously. And it behooves those Africans, those South Africans particularly, who are educated, to go out into the townships, into their homes, speak to the layman in the street and inform them, educate them. That, look, these are our people. We can't kick them out. All of Africa is one. It doesn't matter if we've got 52/54 countries in Africa. Who cares? We are one. This is us. The people in the States and in the diaspora think Africa is one country simply because America is a country, even though it's a continent. They don't differentiate between South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Senegal, Gambia. We're all one to them. But strangely enough, here in Africa, we aren't one at all. There's so much division. There's so much ignorance. People, please, educate your children better. Stop preaching hatred. Preach love and unity. Because that's the only way that Africa is going to move forward. We need to unite. We need to unite. While we're going around fighting each other and acting like fools, our real enemy is getting on with a whole bunch of hell and progressing. At whose expense? Yours. Wake up, Africa. Wake up. All right, y'all. Be good or be good at it. Bye for now.